I'm the president of the Outer Ring Road Companies Association. I also work for Intel. I'm the senior director of business operations for Intel in India, taking care of all the sites that we have for Intel in India and ensuring that everything is ship-shape for all the engineers to do their work. WRI launched the program, which is Personal to Public, and what kind of motivated me? You can almost look at it as a trial to start with, right? Twice a week, and that is something which caught my attention. The time that is spent on the road, which has been like beaten to death almost, right, in terms of loss of productivity, sheer amount of time which is wasted, and things like that. The second is ease of operations and not having had to focus on just getting your mind share on how to get to work, right? So how can you use the public transport to do that? Of course, at that point in time, answers were not as evident as they are today, while a lot of work has happened ever since. The fact that with Srinivas and all, I was at the stage, right, in some way, canvassing for it, I would look like a person who's got a split personality, right? If I don't do it myself and I speak about it. So that's what started this journey. And I see that twice a week is doable, right? It's absolutely doable. It's just that leap of faith. And once you take that leap of faith, then you see how to do it. Frankly, the first and the last mile still remain issues, right? Like, for example, I'm in Whitefield, where we're sitting today. From here to the Hoodie, the metro station is around 1.5 kilometers. Now, that's not an easy 1.5 kilometers. If I want to walk, it's not that the footpaths are seamless and traffic's not spilling over into the footpaths and things like that. So what do? I just take a cab or a auto or whatever comes from on the app, and I go to the metro station. But from there, things become much easier, right? One is the whole environment, right? In the metro stations, nice, clean, air-conditioned trains, come on time, take a limited amount of time to reach Kerpuram. And that's like almost the journey from Hudi to Kerpuram is a no-brainer. And many times, actually, I can sit down and actually take a call or work and things like that. It's not that big a deal. Then comes the fun, because Kerpuram onwards, the ORRCA ring road, the metro stretch is still work in progress, as you know. So what BMTC has done, and full credit to them, is those metro feeders that have come in, right? Metro feeders, so get down at Kerpuram and then get into one of the metro feeders. Again, I'm kind of insulated from the outdoor surroundings, right? That's the good part, right? It is an air-conditioned bus. For me, it takes around for half an hour or so to get to EcoSpace, right, where I get down. Then walking, it's not a seamless footpath which goes there. But from EcoSpace, it makes it much easier for me. I have an office in EcoSpace other than the Intel campus. So I get down at EcoSpace. Sometimes I work in EcoSpace or I walk to the Intel campus. So overall, a mixed bag. But what I see is the approach, right? Both one has to be open, right? If we close our minds, then it's not going to work. If we keep comparing with what if I jumped into my car and got there, would it be similar? It will not happen so easily. There is a positive approach, right? Metro feeders is a great one, right? I know they're not going full. I know that BMTC would have loved full capacity buses, but still they've taken the leap of faith, right? And that those continue. Sometimes there are supply issues, but overall, if you take on an average, there are those metro feeders you'll find in 5 to 7 minutes, you will find a metro feeder to go somewhere on Outer Ring Road. So that's the positive part. Metro work is moving in the right direction. As president of the Outer Ring Road Companies Association, we are privy to the roadmap, and we are seeing that all the milestones and things like that are on track, right? Which is a very big deal. It definitely has. See, what I like about it itself, the catchiness of the slogan, right? It's not going all over the place. It's saying it as it is, right? Personal to public. It doesn't mean anything else. It can't mean anything else. So fundamentally, you're saying what you want to say, right? That is one. Two, it's kind of a good disease, right? It spreads. What we have done in Intel, for example, we are polling our population within Intel. What would it take you to move to public transport, right? That kind of a little motion has started within the company, and hopefully other companies are also doing the same. Companies are anyway providing transport, right? Now how can they move on to larger public transport means like BMTC? But to me, even pooling itself is a step in the right direction, because that's five vehicles versus one, right? So gradually, what the personal to public has done is thinking that how can we not take so many vehicles onto the road, right? That's a fundamental first step. Then the second is public itself, right? What is public? Public hopefully will move from shared to really public, but at least that initial step is moving in the right direction. So to me, this whole sloganification, if I may use the word, and the banner that is created alongside public thinkers, the company officials, a lot of people on the roads being pulled, and making a little bit of noise around it. But what we did with the transport minister when we launched this, all those are big deals, right? And to me, at every vantage point, we should find a way to keep doing that, right, and keep reinforcing this slogan over and over again. So to me, personal public is a brilliant piece. I think we should just keep working on it. From the metro feeders per se, with BMTC is an active conversation going on. One is monitoring the duration of the metro feeders themselves in terms of the gaps between one bus and the other. The route itself, we kind of looked at very closely along with BMTC, and we said, okay, this looks like a perfect route going all the way from Lori Junction to the Silk Board, and how does it go? That is one. The second is looking at, and that is still in the works. How can these feeder buses actually go into the campuses, right? That's a big question mark at this point. At this point in time, they drop people in right in front of the campuses. Some of these campuses are very large, so it's a long walk for a lot of people who want to get into the companies which are inside their campuses. So working very closely with the various companies, especially the developers, because it's not about the individual companies, it's about the developers. How do we do this? How do we get the buses inside? Also looking at BMTC to see if there are any denominators of buses which could be smaller in size, right, which could go in. That is still a lot of work to be done. So that's one part from the BMTC. And as I said, BMRCL, incredible amount of work that's happening out there, right? Yeah, so more than incentivizing, we always used to at pre-COVID, actually, Intel used to provide the BMTC bus passes to the employees, right? And we were pioneers in getting the BMTC buses, actually a fleet of them, to service various parts of the city, right? So that was well established. Then came COVID, and that put paid to a lot of our good plans at that point in time. So as we're moving on, we're looking at how do we kind of get back into that kind of a scenario. That is one. Polling people to see what can we do to get them onto these large pooled buses, whether it's BMTC, whether it's whatever private fleet that we have. At least getting out of their individual vehicles is another thing, right? And finally, looking at, okay, what else can motivate these employees to really take public transport, because we want to save them time, we want to save them effort, we want to make their life better, right, as they are coming into work. And we also want them to come to work whenever they can and whenever they want to. So we are working closely with them to see what can happen. So as Outer Ring Road Companies Association, the stretch of companies that are there, all of us leaders really endorse Personal to Public as a campaign, not only in just a campaign, but in belief that everyone will espouse it and work with it.